The knock was so soft that at first, Noah thought he had imagined it, a mere echo inside the lonely quiet of his small house in North Carolina. But then it came again, trembling, fragile, almost afraid of its own existence. He felt something inside him tense, the kind of instinct that only rises when life is preparing to turn sharply, without warning. When he opened the door, the sight stole his breath. Standing beneath the weak glow of the porch light was Ava Hammond, a woman he hadn't seen in nearly 5 years, her face streaked with tears, her clothes damp from the cold night air, and her eyes carrying a storm she could no longer outrun. Before we go further, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us spread more stories that matter. Noah's mind raced. Ava had vanished from his life years ago without explanation, leaving behind a silence he tried to fill with work, routine, anything that would prevent him from replaying the last conversation they never got to finish. And now, here she was, looking as if the world had collapsed on her shoulders. He didn't ask why she had come at such an impossible hour. Something in her trembling posture made him step aside instinctively, giving her space to pass, as if he feared she might break if he dared speak too soon. Inside, Ava stood frozen, unable to meet his gaze. Noah noticed the way she held her arms tightly across her chest, as if trying to keep herself from falling apart. The house was warm, but she shivered uncontrollably. He remembered how she used to braid her hair on days she felt nervous, and seeing it braided now made his stomach twist with a painful familiarity. The woman in front of him was the same, yet entirely changed. Her eyes, once bright, curious, and full of unspoken dreams, now carried exhaustion shaped by long nights and heavy burdens. He didn't know what she had endured, but he knew it had taken pieces of her. Along the way, Noah wanted to demand answers, to ask why she disappeared, why she didn't reach out, why she looked like she had run through her own personal storm just to get to his door. But he swallowed everything. Instead, he watched her walk slowly to the edge of his living room, her steps uncertain, as though every inch she moved required more courage than she had left. She finally whispered that she needed help, but the words sounded like they were torn from her, fragile and desperate. Noah felt something inside him crack open. Not anger, not resentment, but the aching weight of someone he once cared deeply for standing on the edge of a cliff. She explained her story in broken pieces. After leaving town, she had fallen into a relationship that became a cage disguised as affection. What began as attention slowly grew into control, first subtle, then suffocating. She had tried to leave many times but felt trapped by fear and the shame of not seeing the warning signs early enough. Tonight, however, something inside her finally snapped, and she ran, without a plan, without a destination, until her mind landed on the one person she believed would still open a door for her, even after everything. Noah listened without interrupting, each word cutting deeper than the last. He couldn't change the past, but he could change what happened next. He could see how her hands trembled when she mentioned the man she fled from, and how her body seemed to brace for impact, as if expecting him to lash out in anger for her sudden reappearance. But Noah only felt a rising protectiveness he thought he'd buried years ago. As the hours passed, the heaviness between them shifted into something fragile but warm. Ava finally stopped shaking, the tension in her shoulders loosening as she realized she was safe, truly safe for the first time in years. Noah made tea, though she barely drank, too overwhelmed to do anything but wrap her hands around the warm ceramic. He noticed the scratches on her wrist, the tired skin beneath her eyes, the bruised vulnerability inside her voice. She hadn't come to him out of desire, she had come out of survival. And something about that truth reshaped his understanding of everything that had once hurt him. The storm outside grew louder near dawn, rain lashing against the windows like restless whispers. Ava sat on the edge of the couch, staring out at the darkness as if waiting for the past to claw its way back into the room. Noah sat across from her, keeping enough distance to respect her space, but close enough so she wouldn't feel alone. She told him she didn't want to stay long, didn't want to disrupt his life again, and Noah felt a painful ache hearing the apology woven into her words. He realized that what she needed most was not judgment or questions, but gentleness, a soft place to land after years of hardness. In that moment, Noah understood that life sometimes brings people back not to reopen old wounds, but to offer unexpected healing. He felt something shift inside him, an opening, a remembering of the kindness he used to carry so easily before disappointment made him build quiet walls around his heart. By sunrise, the rhythm of the house had changed. The shadows retreated, and for the first time, Ava's expression softened. There was still fear in her eyes, yes, but there was something new too, something like hope, fragile but alive. Noah made breakfast, simple and warm, and when she took her first bite, the tears that fell were silent, but they held a lifetime of exhaustion finally letting go. He didn't rush her. He didn't try to fix everything. He simply offered presence, and sometimes presence is the greatest act of love a person can give. In the following days, things didn't become magically easy. Ava struggled with nightmares, with panic, with guilt she didn't deserve. Noah struggled with wanting to help without overstepping, yet slowly, gently, something began to grow between them, not what they once had, but something new, grounded in healing and understanding. Noah drove her to meet with a counselor, helped her file necessary reports, and stood by her side through the frightening steps of reclaiming her life. And Ava, in turn, began to rediscover pieces of herself she thought she had lost forever. Her laughter, her curiosity, her soft strength. One evening, weeks later, she thanked him, not in words, but in the way she looked at him, steady and unbroken, as though he had handed her back a part of her soul. And Noah realized that the midnight knock he once feared had become the moment that rewrote the direction of his life. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Your engagement helps us keep creating meaningful stories for you. Before you go, please comment below. Would you have opened the door that night?